It is important for scientists to make connections. They need to make connections to the broader world. They need to know what government is thinking, what funders are thinking. They need to know what questions are on the table, the shifting ground of accountability, and they need to talk to each other about these things. So I think this is a conference about scientific citizenship as well as science. And the more we marry those two and the more people who get engaged with this, the better off the scientific community is going to be, and the better off Albertans will be, and the better off the world will be. I think the big innovation in research is that it is truly more interdisciplinary than it used to be. We have big problems to solve in the world, be it in health or be it anywhere else. And I'm a fan of Thomas Homer Dixon's, who wrote a great book called The Ingenuity Gap, and that's what we've been missing. We've been excellent in narrow technical ways, increasingly sophisticated, but the challenge is to put it all together to answer a big question in a comprehensive way. So now we have social scientists working with clinical scientists who are working with basic scientists. It's not all sweetness and light yet. It's not like there's one big, happy, interdisciplinary team. But I think research agencies and foundations are starting to support more innovation, and that makes me optimistic. We know the paradox of health science is that 90% of the scientific effort is concentrated on the diseases and disorders of 10% of the world's population. Why? And the simple answer is because that's where the money is. So we need to do something about that. So we need to find a way to marry the two agendas, where we can allow scientists to discover new things that we hope one day will end up in a practical application, but also to mobilize science and scientific activity so that it does answer some of those pressing problems a little more quickly and a little more comprehensively. Scientists are the best people to tell it like it is. I mean, you can have intermediaries, you can have good science reporters and so on, but those scientists who are good communicators should look at it as a fundamental obligation to communicate well, because that's part of the bargain, part of the contract. You fund us to do our science, and we will explain to you what we're doing, and we will have conversations with you about what we're trying to accomplish in the short term and in the long term. And it will also help set reasonable expectations among governments and the public as for what we can expect from this investment. And I think the best thing the scientific community can do is try to be useful early on and answer the questions honestly. Don't overpromise, and don't say it's an irrelevant question. So I think what we need to do is produce a more literate cadre of scientists who are prepared to engage in these conversations with governments, with the general public, with the media, so that all of us can find some common ground about what we can expect from science. I think the research environment is changing in a couple of ways. First of all, it's a bit less patient, and I worry about that. When you look at universities, particularly in the health area, a lot of the positions are what we call soft money. They're not permanent positions. The people don't have tenure. They don't have job security. They're applying for their salary money every 5 years. And it's a pretty high stakes enterprise. And so the pressures there are to publish quickly, to do more quickly, and I worry whether or not they have enough time to think. So we need to find a way to keep people productive, to have a reasonable incentive to work hard, get your findings as quickly as possible, but we also need to create environments where smart people can think. Just like we want science to be more interdisciplinary, and you want to marry social science to clinical science to basic science, I think we want scientists who are more fully engaged and active in their communities. They are aware of what these issues are. They take an interest in public policy. They ask themselves the question about, so in the whole landscape, which areas are we not collectively addressing? And how do we try to meet the public halfway on these things? How can we be more accountable for the money we spend? How can we generate a return on the investment that both the public and private sector make in us? They're not easy answers, and I'm not suggesting that we should have a knee-jerk response to every politician with an idea about curing something. But I think it's reasonable to account for what you do, explain why you're doing it, actively talk about, yes, this is a serious problem, and here are some options for us collectively trying to address it. And as long as the conversation takes place, I'm optimistic that we will find some common ground there too. I think one of the jobs we all have is sometimes you have to speak truth to power and say, look, this isn't right. We can do better than this. It's my general temperament to be quite comfortable doing that. I don't need to be loved. I certainly don't need people to agree with me. But I think society advances when we debate the issues. So I think this is a conference about scientific citizenship as well as science. And the more we marry those two and the more people who get engaged with this, the better off the scientific community is going to be, and the better off Albertans will be, and the better off the world will be.